Alright, so we're looking at the GMYLE wireless Bluetooth keyboard. Now, I don't know if GMYLE is the correct pronunciation, but it's close enough. And above it, though, is my Logitech wireless keyboard. Now, the first, of course, obvious difference is that my Logitech is a lot bigger, and it's also a lot heavier. And this particular model is specifically designed for Android. When I bought this earlier this year, it was like back in February of this year, 2014, it was exact same price point as this. There was an updated version that was far more expensive that works with Apple as well as Android and Windows. But at the time I didn't need that. I just needed something I could touch type on because, well, frankly, the first thing I discovered with Android devices is that I can't touch type on the touchscreen. Now, for shorter things, emails, what have you, I don't mind. But for longer passages that I want to be, a bit more fluid on, so I can stare at the screen and not at the keyboard, or trying to making sure I'm hitting the right things, you need a keyboard. You need that tactile response, and that is the first thing that I really wanted to test out. Is, does this give me the tactile response I need in order to touch type, as well as button spacing? Because that's the buttons are more spread out here, so it's slightly more natural as a keyboard, and they're all kind of slightly pushed in. However, regardless, this actually is well spaced. I have no problem with this, and I'll show you that in a moment. First thing is I do need to show you is it is backlit, the shift key, and now with the backlighting, and this is a total aside, but you can change the backlighting by hitting the FN key, and then you can turn the backlighting to be always on by hitting a little light button, and a little status light shows up, meaning that the changes have taken effect, and that way it's always on. You can set it back to its default, stay on for 3 seconds, turn it off by doing the same thing, or have it turn it always off, as well as changing the illumination settings from full 100% to 50 to 25, that sort of thing. So now back, can I touch type? Now, the shift key is the one thing that kind of it's the hardest thing for me to get used to, because it's just a small little square, and it is the shift key that I use often whenever having to hit, capitalize the letter on this side or the exclamation point or something along that lines. So that is the hardest thing to get used to. However, all keyboards basically have a adjustment period. This Logitech, the shift keys on all the buttons are basically full size, so the adjustment period was really minimal. This one has a bit of adjustment period, but I'm actually getting used to it fairly quickly. I've used many a keyboard where it took me a couple of days. This one I'm actually picking up pretty quickly. Now, tactile response, speed of typing, all those things. Well, let's find out. Oops. And there's that shift key and question mark. And I must have hit the caps lock. And like I said, it's always about getting used to the keyboard. But I still have the same there you go. So I still, the adjustment period, yes. That little shift key, I'll get used to it sooner or later. All in all, though, it gives me what I need as a touch typer. I'm not the fastest typer, nor can I say I'm the most accurate typer, but I do touch type, and I need that for really long passages. I just sitting there on the touch thing, and like, the backlighting is very cool. The shortcuts on this, I mean, I got shortcuts on this Logitech, but this has really neat shortcuts. I mean, hit the escape key for your home, and then here's one I really like, is the copy and paste ones. If I just hit F1, it copies the whole thing, and then F2, F1 selects the whole thing, I should say, and then F2 copies, and then F3 pastes. So, you know, because I'm used to the traditional Control A, Control C, Control V type of thing. This really makes it a shortcut with the F keys. And of course, now if you pair this up with a Windows machine, then you get full F key functionality. In fact, on the keyboard you have QWE with these little FN functions. If you hold down FN and hit W, it sets the keyboard to Android, meaning that you get the Android shortcuts here, and the shortcuts really work well. I'll hit the delete key, delete all that, and then we're going to pan up, and I can adjust my volume up and down with F10, F11 key, and then there's the mute button. You know, things like that. The home key, the whole 9 yards. And I have all that with this keyboard, but I actually have to hold the FN key to do it, which is kind of a pain. This actually takes the F keys for Android and dedicate it to those shortcuts. Very nice, very nice. Then, you know, print screen, insert, delete, the standard Windows. And for Apple users, hit the FN key, hit the Q, sets this to Apple mode. So very nicely done integrated shortcuts. And of course the backlighting is cool as well. So all in all, very nicely done. Now for pairing at least for Android, it was simple. I just turned it on and then hit the connect button and then scanned it on my device. Now it does ask you for a like I think it's a 6-digit code. It's like 681003, and it will, once it detects it, it will pop up on your screen to type in this number, and it randomly changes. And you type it in and hit enter, and don't be afraid to actually hit enter. The first time I was like, and I just slowly pushed it down because I guess I don't know what I'm doing. And it didn't register it. So on the second time though, with a new number, I typed it in and just hit enter like normal, and it paired up fine. It's just a one-time thing. Once you're paired, you're paired. You don't have to keep doing that. It's just a security code thing, I suppose. It's cool though. Easy enough. Easy enough. And all in all, this is really a nice keyboard. I love the backlighting. I really do. And you know, in spite of it being far smaller, more compact than this big one, other than that little shift key that I have to get used to, everything else is nicely spaced and weighted to give you that tactile response. I give this an unreserved 5 stars recommendation. If I had seen this at the same price point as this when I first bought it, I would have bought this in a heartbeat, all honesty. Even in spite of being a slightly bigger keyboard, this would have been a no-brainer. Just absolutely. So there you guys go, the GMYLE wireless Bluetooth keyboard. Very cool stuff. You guys have a great one. Quick ad, totally forgot. It completely slipped my mind. The other awesome thing about this, this is rechargeable. This actually has to use batteries. It runs off batteries. This is an internal charge, and that's like really major important. It comes with a really long, generous micro USB to USB cord for charging this itself up. It's just boom, put it in, charges up. So that's another thing that totally slipped my mind, but really a big selling point is that it's a rechargeable battery inside. And yeah, that's awesome right there. All right, now you guys have yourself a great one.